Hello and welcome to another edition of Food Chain with me, Jessie Eramagbapo. Today we'll put a focus on front of pack food warning labeling and find out just how important it is in helping you make informed decisions when it comes to your food products. Today on the Food Chain, my guest is Country Director for SEND Ghana, Harriet Nyama Ajiman. Stay with us. Hello Harriet, welcome to the Food Chain.
Hello.
Okay, so first of all, tell us how important this whole conversation is when it comes to front of pack warning labels.
Right, thank you very much. There's a saying that we are what we eat, and what we eat is very important also in our lives. Even though we are not living to eat, but we eat also to sustain us, and therefore whatever goes inside of us is as important as any other thing that we do. It determines how long sometimes we can live, and how healthy we can be to go about our normal duties here and there. And so front of pack warning is very, very important. It is new to us in Africa, in Ghana, and it's coming up strongly because of diseases that are coming up as a result of what we eat.
Okay. What exactly are front of pack warning labels for people who don't know about it?
Well, these are labels that we put in the front of packages, food packaging, to tell us that this product you are purchasing contains certain nutrients of concern that you need to be concerned about. Foods or nutrients of concern include salt, include sugar, include fat, or what we call saturated fats. And so by putting them in front of that package, it is just to pre-inform you that this package or this product you are buying contains a certain quantity of salt, high, medium or low, so that you, the purchaser, is informed whether you want to procure or purchase a product that has more salt, medium salt or low level of salt. So that is just the essence. It's not just salt but also sugar and saturated fat. It's just to warn you, pre-inform you, so that you don't you go in for what you prefer. The whole idea behind this is that we know, or we are informed, that the nutrients of concern have implications on our health in terms of the quantities we take in. And so we need to be wary of the quantities we take in daily. And that is why if you have the warning on the packages you are picking off the shelf, you are pre-informed, and then you pick what you think will be healthy for you.
Yeah, I know over the period SEND Ghana has been creating awareness on this whole issue. Tell us about it.
Yes, SEND Ghana over the past year has been at the forefront of promoting front of pack warning labels on food packages, especially processed and ultra processed foods. We know that Ghana is fast growing, and most of us, especially we are quickly urbanizing. So by urbanization, we are also moving away from the way we prepare our foods also because of the fast lives that we are all living. And so we want to now procure more processed foods than go for the natural ingredients to process, because we do not have the time. And when foods are processed, they go through processes. Chemicals are added, preservatives are added, and some of these nutrients of concern are added so that the food can be preserved up to a certain point. And so more of the nutrients of concern are getting into these processed foods, and once we are also consuming them, or the more we are consuming them, the more it has health implications for us. And so in Ghana, over the past few years, the health service has been concerned because we are facing a triple burden of disease, and these triple burden are the communicable, the non-communicable, and accidents. The non-communicables are really increasing very fast, and the non-communicables are gotten also through lifestyle, for which food intake plays a very key role. And that is why SEN Ghana is also concerned that if the health of the people of Ghana is the wealth of this country, then the people of Ghana must keep healthy so that we can continue to create the health that the country needs. And the wealth that the country needs is not just the funds, but also the work that we are all doing in our very small ways to contribute to national development. If you and I were sick, we won't have this conversation. And so we need to stay healthy to be able to continue to educate the populace. And that is why we are concerned that we need to begin to get warning from what we take off the shelf, so that we know what we are eating and we eat in the appropriate quantities, so we continue to stay healthy. And that is why we have taken it upon ourselves to, one, raise awareness, and also to advocate for government to have a food, a front of pack policy. The policy would direct us as to what programming we implement to address the challenges we are encountering, especially with non-communicable diseases. But also it will guide manufacturers as to what they include in the food they are manufacturing, or the food they are processing. So the policy is to regulate as well. So it will regulate manufacturers, but also it would regulate importers as to what they import into our country. What is imported is already processed. And so if we have our standards as a country, and a food policy would help us to get those standards. If we have those standards, then whenever you are importing, you know that Ghana will not allow salt quantities to a certain level, sugar quantities to a certain level. Then you know what you are importing into the country for the people of Ghana, because we need to stay healthy. And that is why we are on this advocacy.
Where have you gotten to with this advocacy?
Because we are still just within a year since we began this, we are on awareness, but also we are beginning to have conversations with the ministry responsible of the need for the front of pack warning labeling. I must say that we are not the first. The ministry is already discussing front of pack, and even beyond front of pack. When it comes to food policy, the ministry is already thinking about 4 different policies all around food. So they are the policy makers and they are the forefront. We are emphasizing front of pack because then that is what would guide the consumer. And our focus is on the consumer. And so we are asking that give us the warnings. These are very simple shapes or colors that a lay person, an illiterate, for instance, can just identify with. These are just colors. So it depends on which one Ghana wants to go for. Is it the shape, the hexagonal shape that you have inscriptions in there, high salt, medium, or low, or the colors where you could say red is high,
Yeah.
and yellow is medium, and green is low. So the person who cannot read and write goes to the shelf. They want to pick a can of tomato paste, and they have the colors on it, embossed on it, and it shows green, and the person knows that this one contains low sugar, and so I can pick it, or it contains low salt, and therefore I can pick it. So for us, our focus is on the consumer, and that is why we are advocating that the ministry should get the front of pack warning labeling out to guide you and I on what we choose or pick from the shelves. From all the supermarkets, from our markets, you know, we are guided.
You mentioned they are doing some work, but do you think we are doing enough to help people make informed choices when it comes to the foods they buy?
So for policy making, it's a process, and it can be a long one. And it has to start with gathering a lot of information, lessons from those who have ever implemented such, you know, so that we also don't make mistakes or reinvent wheels. And so that is what the ministry is doing. They've gone through that process of getting data, you know, that will guide the rest of the process. Now they would have to start stakeholder consultations and getting technical people to work. It will get to a point they will have to get the Office of the Attorney General to come in because of legalities, you know, and then the executive will look at whether we have the resources for implementation, and if they have to also get a law out of that policy, then the legislature will come in, so it will go to Parliament. So it's a very long process, but they have started. What we can say is that they should expedite action on the process, especially for the one labeling, because day in, day out we are eating, and I'm sure that some of us have already taken in some foods this morning. So we are eating, and it cannot wait. It is better we prevent diseases, non-communicables, than to wait to have it before we seek, or government put money to addressing non-communicables.
So Ghana already has a high rate of non-communicable diseases. What you are advocating now, do you believe it's one of the steps towards reducing the rate?
Oh yes, it is. Even for those who have it, even for those who have non-communicable diseases. For instance, the dietitians complain that when they have their clients who are who have NCDs, non-communicable diseases, and you need to put them on diet, you know, and sometimes they can get foods already canned, and there are no labels in there to warn these very people who are already suffering from non-communicables, you know. So it becomes quite difficult for the dietitians as well. So if we have the labels, those who already have the NCDs, they know what to pick. They will keep the disease in check. And then for those of us who are not yet in that bracket, it will help us to protect ourselves, you know, so that we don't just buy, or we don't just pick anything to eat. We will be mindful of what we are choosing and picking, and we would know the quantities that we should take. So we have foods already on the shelves that have what we call the back of pack labels. When you pick anything on the shelf, you find nutritional fats behind it. It is telling you we have this grams of that, this grams of that. And then sometimes the language is technical, you will not understand. And it is not telling you what portions you should take, or whether the portions in there are high or low, you know. So the back of pack is there, What we are saying is that we need a front of pack. The front of pack wants too much salt, too much sugar, too much fat. When we have the labels, the populace is informed. Because when you pick it, it just tells you that this is what is there. If you want it, you pick it. If you don't want it, you leave it out. It will also regulate, as I mentioned, those manufacturing, so that they begin to think of how they can reformulate what they are processing to reduce the nutrients of concern in what they are processing for all of us. And for those who are bringing them into the country, they will also be regulated. But it is important we know, so that we cut down on those and remain healthy. Non-communicable diseases are often terminal, especially if you don't report early. It can be terminal. For instance, diabetes. Diabetes, when it is observed or it is suspected early, and you are able to follow doctor's advice, the likelihood that you can reverse it is there. But then if it is not early enough, it becomes terminal. It lives with you forever. And you have to be very cautious about what you take in, especially if you like picking food from the shelf and you are not cooking yourself. Even if you are cooking yourself, you have to be mindful of your salt, your sugar, and all of that. And so you don't even want to get there. Two, it is expensive. Very expensive. Medication for these diseases are expensive. Hypertension, diabetes, and all of that. They are expensive because they are not curable, and you have to manage it. So you have to remain on medication, you have to be going for checkups and all of that. It takes a lot of your time. It takes away your little savings, and we don't want to get there. It also has a toll on the Ministry of Health's budget, and in the long run, the national budget. Because government will have to set aside a lot of resources to manage that. And that is why it's important we talk about this, so that we are all aware. So for instance, we have the government establishing the Mahama Care. What for? We want to be able to support those with kidney problems, and so that they can go on their dialysis and all that. The question we need to ask ourselves is, do we have some of these nutrients of concern contributing to kidney problems in our country? If yes, for instance, I'm just citing an example. If, for instance, it is salt that is contributing to these kidney challenges, or sugar, should we wait for us to have the disease before we have a Mahama Care coming to cater for those with the disease? We will end up putting more money into such initiatives to cure. Even that one is not curing, to manage, to make it very simple for those who already have it. You know, so we'll be managing, and we'll spend a lot of money managing. But if we are able to talk about it, and we are able to create the awareness, and everybody comes on board, then we will contribute to reducing potential NCDs. And for those who have just moved into that category, probably a reversal because of food intake.
You have been on this journey of creating awareness over the period. What challenges have you encountered, or what do you foresee would be a challenge to adopting this label?
Well, you know, as I mentioned, policy making is a very long process in our country. If there's no political will, we won't get the policies out. You know, so we need we need the policies. We need a policy, and we need government to show the will. Just as government has shown the will to support those who have NCDs, you know, we need government to also show the will for those of us who don't yet have it, to prevent us from having it. So that if we don't get that, it will be a challenge for us to be successful in this advocacy. Two, another one we foresee as a challenge is if industry does not buy into this. They may see this as a challenge to them, like countering what they are producing. But that is not what we are doing. We are not doing that. If we are asking for the labeling, we are saying that tell us what is in what you have processed for us. Let us make a choice. Let people know what they are eating so that people can make their choices. So it's even a feather in your cap if, as a manufacturer, if you are able to show the labels, and because of that, people are picking their choice. When you get to know what the people want, you will tend to produce that the more than just leaving it very open, you know. So we also call on industry to be not to see what we are doing as a counter to their production. We are actually helping so that they produce what the people would like to eat.
What role do consumers themselves have in all of this? How can they help push this agenda?
Well, I would say Ghanaians should stop sitting on the fence. Sometimes we behave as if we are not concerned about anything, you know. And so even when they say don't eat too much of this, then we would complain. We have to be able to get on board and manage what we eat. I have heard people say, when you eat your food as medicine, then you stay healthy. But then, if you don't, medicine in the long run will become your food. Because you are going to be on medication for the rest of your life. You know, and it is not easy for those who are on medication. You know, you can't take your medication without eating too. You will have to eat. And then your doctor or your medical advisor is telling you, don't eat this quantity, don't eat this, don't eat that. And you are not able to pick any food that is telling you that this is what you can eat. You see, it's very difficult for those who find themselves in that situation already. And we don't have to add on to it for them. So as Ghanaians, we should be concerned about what we eat. The fast life, the fast pace of life is what is pushing all of us, you know, to eat processed and ultra-processed foods. But taking a minute to read your label, to look out for a warning labeling, is as important as putting the food into your mouth and feeling full. And so we should do that. And when we do that, so the onus really lies on consumers.
How crucial is it for us to get this policy out as fast as possible in terms of timeliness?
Well, as crucial as each day there's a report of a non-communicable disease at the facility. If we want to go back to the Ministry of Health and ask, I mean Ghana Health Service, and then the mission hospitals, CHAG, and the private hospitals, to give us data on non-communicable diseases they record daily, and those that are food related. I'm sure tomorrow we'll all call for, we may all ask for the policy to be out or the labels to be out. So that's, in that sense, I'm just saying as soon as possible. The year has already ended. and we are entering a new year, I want to call on the Ministry of Health that it should be one of their priorities next year, right from January, because they have the data. So whatever stakeholder consultations that they have to organize, including talking to ordinary people on the street, you know, they should expedite action on that and get the policy out, you know, so that they themselves will have a document to engage the manufacturers, you know, so that changes can be seen. If by the end of the year 2026 we have a policy and manufacturers are beginning to change their formulations here and there, it will be a plus for all of us.
So this has been our episode for food chain. We've been speaking about front of pack warning labels and how important it is for Ghana to have them to help consumers make informed decisions about the foods they consume. This has been Food Chain with me, Jessie Eramagwapo, and my guest has been the Country Director for Send Ghana, Miss Harriet Nyama Ajiman. See you on another episode.